Good morning. Welcome to Temple Amadora. My name's Katarina Amadora, and I'm here for the daily card draw and meditation. While I say daily, I want to let you guys know I'm going to be traveling for a little while, starting tomorrow. So I may not be daily, or I might be streaming from other locations for a while, rather than from my home temple. So this may be the last stream from the home temple for a few days, and then maybe longer. So anyway, thank you for joining me. Let's get right to the card draw, shall we? Interesting. This card is the lotus flower or unfoldment. This is a card I don't pull very often, but it seems appropriate as I am about to be embarking on an adventure. So I'm very excited to see what's going to unfold with that. Let's see what the book says about it. And again, this is the Earth Magic deck by Stephen Farmer that I'm using for this reading. Here we go. Lotus flower, unfoldment. The lotus flower sits upon one of its leaves, having risen to the surface, as the sun, held in the hand of God, invites it upward to the light. This unique plant is rooted in the mud and muck at the bottom of a body of water, its stem reaching up to the surface where the leaves rest quietly. At night, the flower closes and sinks below the surface only to rise with the daylight and once again gradually unfold its petals, its stem extending above the waterline 3 feet or more. What we learn from this amazing plant is how our own spiritual path unfolds and opens to the light, then at times gently folds in on itself for a proper rest when the daylight fades. This period is just as necessary as the growth, for it allows the plant to integrate what it has gained in nourishment during the day. It's also just as important that it is rooted, and it is yet another miracle of nature that something so exquisitely beautiful is formed from the mud and silt at the water's bottom. Your spiritual unfoldment is occurring at all times, whether or not you are aware of it. It is inevitable as long as you put your trust in the hands of the Creator, the one who holds the light. Like the lotus, your soul is always reaching for the light to fulfill its karmic destiny. But even in that process, there are periods of darkness and times to rest. It is a natural cycle, one that cannot truly be coerced or halted. It has an innate rhythm of its own, one that is unique to the being that is you. You do not need to strive or be driven by spiritual ambition. It does no good to try to force growth upon yourself or others. For that matter, allowing is the key here. Allow the place in you that naturally wants to follow the light to do so, while recognizing that even when you have complete faith, you will face challenges and occasionally suffering. Your steady faith and love will guide you on your journey of returning to the light. What an amazing adventure we've been on. This time spent in our homes, in our cocoons, in that state of being the gray mush, going inward. I've seen so much growth in myself and in others during this time period, this time of forced isolation, this time of going inward. I've seen challenges for my friends and their relationships being cooped up together. I've been challenged being cooped up by myself. So much growth. Challenges, yes. But it is in these times where we're forced to go inside, where we're forced to look at the darkness, that we're able to heal that which is within us. So much of the time we spend our entire lives looking outside. In our relationships, we project onto the other person. It's like, oh, it's their problem. They caused the problem. It's never me. How many of you guys can identify with that? The thing is, it's never about the other person. It's always about what's inside here. Because when you're triggered, when something comes up, it's that younger version of you that is reacting instead of responding, because your partner is shown a light, a mirror for you to show you what you need to heal. And you either choose to take that mirror and look in it and get curious, or you can choose to project it on your partner. And I promise you that if you're projecting it on your partner and you're finding all the problems with them, you're just putting one brick after another, building a wall between you and what you want. And before you know, that wall is higher than the walls of Jericho. Dismantling those walls can be very difficult. And the only way to take those bricks down off the wall is to recognize that you put them there. Brick after brick. And the only way to do that is to look in the damn mirror, to see what is it in you that got triggered. What is it in you that allowed you to react or respond in a way that sabotaged your relationship? It can be challenging being cooped up with one person for months at a time. It can be challenging cooped up by yourself. We all have our challenges. It's a matter of how do we take responsibility for our own reactions. You never want to be in that state of reaction when you are reacting that is reaction from your unconscious self, from your wounded inner child. And in those moments, it is important to see that, to calm that wounded inner child, to reparent it, to let it know that it's loved, that it's okay, that it's safe, so that you can come back to a place of presence, a place where you can be present with the other. You can take responsibility for your own role in building that wall, where you can start taking those bricks back down again, reestablishing a heart connection, taking responsibility for your role in the breakdown of the relationship, and rededicating yourself to building connection instead of division. Just like that lotus flower grows in the muck at the bottom of the water, that muddy muck that's inside, yet the flower reaches towards the light. We're always reaching for connection. Humans, they need connection. It's essential to our health, to our happiness, to our success, to so many facets of our lives. And yet we sabotage it when we refuse to do our inner work, when we see things as being outside of ourselves. The answers are always right here. That doesn't make anybody wrong. But we all have to take responsibility for our own wounds. Because while we're not responsible for the programming that was programmed into us as a child, we are responsible for unraveling that, for healing that. Because if we don't heal our own inner wounding, we are going to pass it to our children. And they will pass it to their children, and it will get passed generation by generation by generation. What we're seeing right now in the Black Lives Matter movement is generation upon generation of ancestral trauma being acted out. We've got this systemic racism in our society. People who are carrying so many generations of trauma in their DNA, in their being. When someone is under extreme stress, for example, slavery, there are actual changes that happen in the DNA. Proteins bind to the DNA, called episomes, and it will turn on or turn off gene expression. And when that gene gets passed from mother to child, from father to child, that same folding pattern will be passed along with it. So if someone is chronically upregulated to a hyper-aroused state because they were constantly in fear, that child will have that same regulation in their fear response. And with that comes an increased susceptibility to disease because they turn off their cellular repair mechanisms. And this gets passed generation after generation after generation after generation. And while we're not responsible for the programming that we received as a child, we are responsible for unraveling it. That's why we were incarnated onto this planet. So whatever that is for you, you have my heart goes out to you. Because nobody deserves the programming they receive as a child. the beautiful thing is that as adults, we have the power to unwind that, to heal that, and to change what we're going to pass forward to our kids. When we heal our own trauma, our own ancestral shit, we heal it for generations. So my invitation, I posted about this on my page this morning. I've posted some really angry meditations in the last couple of weeks, having, just all of the activation from the Black Lives Matter and the injustices in our society. And it's one thing to speak out and speak for my brothers and sisters and recognize that I've got that white privilege. But I want to do something more than that. So my offer is that if I have any brothers or sisters of color who carry that ancestral trauma, and I think you know if you do, reach out to me. I'm massively, massively discounting sessions for any persons of color who want to come and work on that with me. You can look at the post on my page. It gives a little bit more information about my prices, but I'm charging less than about a quarter of what I usually charge. Because I want to help heal this. I want to help heal this for the collective, for as many people as I can reach. So that's my invitation. I'm good at what I do. So I hope you'll give me a chance to help you. So anyway, I've got a meeting to get to today, so I'm not going to do the full meditation today. But I just wanted to drop in and say hello and share for a bit. So thank you for joining me this morning. And sending you so much love. Oh yeah, I've also got a book coming out tomorrow, so please download that on Kindle. It might even be available for free download on Kindle today, but for sure by tomorrow the link's going to be active. I will be posting that on my Facebook later. If you've already got the advanced reader's copy, please remember to put out your review tomorrow. I'll be sending out letters about that later today. So, yep, excited, lots going on. You take care. So much love.